Buenas noches. So are we having fun yet? Are we having fun yet? For anybody who's just joined us, what I've been digging into is the speed of light, claimed to travel at 299,792 kilometers per second. But it doesn't, okay? It doesn't because during a solar eclipse, when people are in the sweet spot here on planet Earth, looking up at the moon, and the sun is directly behind the moon, this can only happen with absolute light. There is no light delay of 8 minutes and 20 seconds for photons to get here, which are then blocked by the moon, which then casts its shadow. The moon is blocking the light source itself. Shadow. The moon is blocking the light source. It's radiating absolute light. That is why there is no delay possible. If there were photons involved, the photons here would be 8 minutes and 20 seconds old. And people are saying that the sun in the sky is also 8 minutes and 20 seconds old. It's illogical because there is a 2.08 degrees axis spin, planet Earth, in 8 minutes and 20 seconds. These cannot be in line. It cannot happen with finite light. Yesterday, I was out there for hours, right? I've said this once or twice before, but never slam dunked it, okay? If there were an 8 minute and 20 second light delay, we wouldn't ever see the physical sun in the sky. It's illogical, right? It's stupid. The little one. When the moon goes that way, right? We're looking from Earth and kind of goes that way usually, right? Oh, sorry, Daisy the cow. From here, from the sweet spot on planet Earth, and you're looking up at the moon, and directly behind the moon, right, you can see the sun. You can see the sun's corona around the moon. That's what you see from here, from the sweet spot. Now, the reason that you're seeing the sun's corona and the reason that the moon is casting a shadow, it's because the sun is directly behind the moon, right? If there were a delay of 8 minutes and 20 seconds, the sun would be long gone. It would be gone. And the moon, it would be blocking photons. There would be a shadow, but the sun would be gone. It's illogical. It's highly illogical. It's impossible, okay? This is not about what I'm saying. This is pure logic, okay? I could be a spokesperson for logic and common sense for that matter. You cannot have a solar eclipse play out with finite light. It cannot happen. You cannot have the sun directly behind the object that is casting the shadow if there is a light delay because of our 2.08 degrees turn on our axis. The moon is blocking the absolute light from the sun. It's a slam dunk. If there were a delay, we would never, ever see the sun in the sky, would we? How would we? it would always be 8 minutes and 20 seconds ahead of where the photons that were hitting us. So the photons that are hitting us are coming from a sun that is already 8 minutes and 20 seconds gone, because that's how long it took for them to get here. We would be in the light all the time, but never see the light source. It's a fact. It's illogical, okay? Somebody said to me, I haven't answered, I think 2 comments, right? Yesterday, after I posted my AI thing, somebody says, well, ChatGTP doesn't agree with you. ChatGTP didn't agree with me because you didn't ask it the right questions. Listen, just because these freaking AI things answer stuff, you cannot believe them. They are programmed. They're programmed. The people program them to say what they say. But there is a catch. They use logic. Logic, right? You need to ask it the right questions. You can't just say, how long does it take for photons to get here? Or is light finite? Or does light travel at 299? Because it will say, yes, of course it does. But if you know what to ask it, I know that light's absolute. I'm not a fool. I know that the sun is directly behind the moon during a solar eclipse because we're in the moon's shadow in real time. There is no delay. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. I can understand that there'll be a lot of people right now going, what's this guy on about? Maybe teachers who've been teaching relativity, people who have majored in it, people who do science fairs and get paid for sitting down and chatting about neutrinos and electrons. The photon from 1905 is horseradish. Einstein would have never, ever called photons travelling at 299,792 kilometers per second because of a solar eclipse. Everybody should understand that this is not about science. It's about common sense and logic and looking at the big picture and understanding that Roma did not see a light delay as Io came out from behind Jupiter as Earth moved further away. And Wheatstone did not spin any mirrors pre-electricity. And Bradley, stellar aberration. Are you kidding me? In 1728, I think it was. And then we have Fizeau in 1849, 30 years before electricity, bounces a light beam. 5 miles one way, bounces off a mirror, 5-mile return trip. When it left, it went. It slipped out between 2 teeth of a spinning wheel that had 100 teeth on it. And it was spinning at hundreds of times per second. This is pre-electricity. The beam between 2 teeth of 100 hits a mirror and comes back through the same 2 teeth 30 years before electricity. How are people believing this rubbish, right? It's insane. These things did not happen. Start any AI with the question, how long does it take? How long for light from sun, right? Just to be quick, from the sun, right? Ask it. Say, how long does it take for the light from the sun to get here? And it will give you the whole, photons, 8 minutes and 20 seconds, 150 million kilometers, right? And then say, why is the sun directly behind the moon? Behind the moon in a solar eclipse. In a solar eclipse, right? Why is the sun directly behind the moon during a solar eclipse? Right? And you can finish it off by saying, where is the light delay? where is the light delay? Because there is none. And then he'll be a little bit on the ropes. They say they cannot lie, right? And you are giving it pure logic. It will have to agree because it's logic. So where is the light delay, you say? So where is the light delay if the sun is directly behind the moon? If there were a light delay, the sun wouldn't be there, would it? The photons would have arrived, the moon would be blocking them, but the sun would be long gone. It's ridiculous. And then we'll probably say, well done, like it says to me, you're using logic, yeah. And it will say something like, well, our brains are wired to believe, that's what my one said. You have to ask the questions, right? Why is sun directly behind the moon, solar eclipse? Where is the light delay? And then it will come back and say, it will stall a couple of times. It will say, because of the way the solar system is structured, and the photon and the cosmic whatever, and go, no. There is no light delay, because there isn't. There is no light delay. You don't have to just ask it questions, you can disagree with it. And I suggest people do, because it's obvious, right? These things, if you use logic, will respond. They'll go to the logic. It's how they're programmed. You can't ask them questions and believe everything that they say. You should be asking questions, but asking questions after questions to make sure, right? And when you give him something like, no, there is no light delay, that's when it goes, yeah, okay, you're right. And then say, would we ever see the sun? See, sun if there is a delay, if there is 8-minute 20-second light delay. And it will know exactly what you're saying. And it will probably say, no, we wouldn't ever see the sun. Because we wouldn't ever see the sun. If there is an 8-minute and 20-second light delay, how would we ever see the sun? But how can there be a light delay? Because any object that is casting the sun's shadow is directly in line with the light source itself, not with photons that have been travelling for 8 minutes and 20 seconds, and the sun would be gone. Light is absolute, guys, right? There is no doubt. You wouldn't see the sun. How long have we got? 13:40. This is not about what I think, okay? Well, it is, but it's logic. It's logic. There can be no light delay from the sun because the solar eclipse would not be able to work. It doesn't matter what the science says, and it doesn't matter about Einstein and the photon light from 1905. It cannot happen. It's a lie. It's a lie. Now, how on earth can you believe, if there is a delay of 8 minutes and 20 seconds for the sun's light to get here, why would we ever see it? It's illogical. I've been out there for enough hours and I know, right? If you think about it, you would never see it because it's always 8 minutes and 20 seconds ahead. If you ever saw it, that would mean that you're looking, that you've caught up with it and you're looking at it live. And that is the case when the solar eclipse happens because it's directly behind the moon. It's a straight, perfect straight line. It's common sense and logic all the way through. You need to stop believing absurdities and start thinking for yourselves. All right, I'm going to call it there, 1508. Look, buenas noches. I will get to some of the comments, but right now, I cannot be bothered with being distracted with, yeah, but what about GPS? And what about that? Because it's all irrelevant, okay? Deal with light being absolute, because a solar eclipse cannot happen unless light is absolute. And if there were a delay, we would never, ever see the physical sun in the sky. How would we? It's always gone. The light's just arriving, but the sun's always gone. Logic and common sense, folks. This is not about science. Wakey, wakey. All right, later, guys.